Today I'm going to do something a little bit different for my channel. Today I'm going to be rebuilding a brake caliper. Now, I'm not taking this motor off, because if you can see these rusty nuts, they are not, I mean, if I had to take it off, I would get it off, but let's not go in there if we can. The bit we are doing today is because the piston is almost, well, it was seized, it's now slightly less seized in the piston seal, because the rust gets in behind it and squeezes the piston seal smaller, and the piston comes out when you put your foot on the brake and stays there and locks the pad onto the disc, and it heats up and makes everyone unhappy. So purchase the appropriate rebuild kit off of eBay. This is both sides, but I'm just doing one side today because it's winter. We will do the other side in the summer. So that gets you your pistons, all your seals, new seals for the sliders, and I think this comes with grease and some bleed nipples. So we're going to replace the pistons, the seals and the nipples probably, because why not? The only thing I'm missing at the moment is some grease and water pump pliers. Right, got my red rubber grease for hydraulics and brakey things, and my power supply just fell off. You'll see why we need a power supply in a minute. And I've put water pump pliers there. Okay, so this is the electric handbrake version. Now, normally I would leave this on the car and pump the piston until the piston pops out, but we can use the electric handbrake to assist us. All we need is 12 volts and 1.5 on that bit of the motor. Now, if I've got it the wrong way around, all this will do is spin in place. Did I? So, can you see? That's the wrong way around, so that's spinning in place, which means the nut's all the way back. So we just reverse polarity, so we'll put positive on the bottom. Positive on the bottom, I think that's on. And then negative, no, okay, it wasn't on. Positive on there, negative on here. And we'll wind it all the way out. Whoop, nearly out there, and it'll wind it all the way out of the caliper. Just yeah. And that's it, stretch and seal out. And that's it, all the way off. And there goes all the brake fluid. Thankfully we have absorbent matting in place. Right, finish with the power supply, don't need you anymore. Right, the piston is now all the way out. It's just the rubber seal holding it in place. There we go, one piston. This time I've wound the thing all the way off. Okay, I'll just need to scooch that back out of there. That's not supposed to come out of there. It's supposed to stay on the piston. That's alright. We'll just wind on the piston a little bit and then pull this off. That's alright. Let's get the rubber seals out of the way first. So this bit gets rusted behind it as well. Yeah, fall apart, why don't you? Now, there's one of the rubber seals that's covered in behind in rust. So there's one of that's the outer seal, the boot. You can see the rust on there. That's narrows the diameter and squeezes into place. There's a few chunks of rust have fallen in, that's okay. Right, let me just thread this back in just now. And I'll extract the... Come off! Oh, you some bitch! So if you find that you've wound your piston out and it brings the centre nut with it, just put it back in and just like thread it back in a little bit, and then you can just wiggle the piston off of the nut and it'll come out as is. We kind of want it out the way a little bit. We want that nut out of our way. Honest, come on, come out of the way, because we'll give it a clean as well. Make sure it slides nicely up and down inside our new one. Yes, lovely jubbly. Right, right, you sit there. And now we're just going to get a pick. Take your pick. One pick, And we're going to pluck out the inside seal. I don't want to zoom you in a bit for this. It is a little bit fucking dark in there. Let's draw. There, right, you can mostly see. So, take your pick, get in behind your seal, and fucking pop it out. There's the seal. So, what happens is, the rust gets in behind in this surface. So, we're going to have to take our pick and clean all of these surfaces out. Scraping, picking, yuck, I can feel it right there. Lovely. Ugh. So, basically, picking and a nice little brush as well. Get in there with a little brush it all up, get your brake cleaner and spray it in and clean it all best. I'll bring you back once I've given this a good going over. Right, so I have cleaned the innards and I have cleaned them with my best shop rag. I'm now going to get the airline and give it a blow. So all those passages are now clear of, well, blockages, we'll say, not blockages, but hang, right, now, what I'm going to do is get another sheet of absorbent paper, a clean one. Remember, only use your cleanest shop rags to clean all these surfaces and things. So there's the nut, brake nut, electric handbrake nut, what we call it? We'll call it electric handbrake nut. Right, we're going to thread this in and thread it basically all the way at the back. All the way. There is a stop on the plate at the back which it threads down onto. It's got like a tab, that's the one we've got, it's got a tab. There's a tab on it, it'll only go down so far and then it just bottoms out, which is what we want. Or I'll do this in the other order, well, I'll put the seal in first. Is it easier to put the seal in first? I think it actually is easier to put the seal in first in this one. Scrub what I just said, take all that shit back out. And then we'll find our seal kit and cover everything in copious quantities of grease. At this stage, grease is your friend. That's a really long thread. It's also an unusual thread. It's not M8 and it's not M10. So perhaps M9, but I don't have any M9s. So here we go. If our hands are clean. Get our grease out. Oh, my grease has gone all condensation-y. Right. Stage 1. This is the piston seal. Oh, get it all nice and lubricated. And wherever you do, well, I don't say don't tear it because hopefully you've got the other side as a spare. And this would have been nice if this was sitting on something and then I could raise it up and show you. How about a nice piston? That's much better. Right, re-greasing. So we will carefully pop our seal in. Why is this all? This is always so much easier when no one's filming. I mean, like, they usually just practically fall in when no one's filming. But now somebody's watching. Actually, hopefully lots of people are watching. Let me make a... Now, did that go in straight? No, it's got a twist. We do not want a twist. We need to fix it so it does not have a twist. Because if it's twisted, you will never, ever, ever get the piston to go back in. Or if you do, it will go in and you'll wreck a seal. Basically, what I need to do now is move it to where I can see it and you can't. Sorry. No, don't do it again. Ah, come on now. Come on, you son of a bitch. I'll be right back. Like I say, it's a million times easier when nobody's watching. So what you should have is, if you can see in there, The seal is in, seated all the way around, and it's round, is not twisted. Twisting is bad. Cleanliness is key. Keep your hands clean. And more grease. More grease on that bit. Right, the purpose of red brake grease is it turns back into brake fluid, or is dissolved easily in brake fluid, so that it you can contaminate, if you know what I mean. But it's a safe product to contaminate with. Right. Now, yes, let's put the outer seal on first. No, second. That's the open pack. Wait. Is this the open pack? Ah, I've put a hole in it now. Oh well. So you'll see there are O-rings. So there's 2 O-rings in there. They are for the electric motor, but we're not taking it off. It can just fucking stay where it is. Electric motor and the 2 sliders that go on the caliper itself. Okay, here is my method for putting the boot on the piston and in the caliper. So take it the way it's supposed to fit. So this one goes, that's the seal that goes in the caliper, and the inside lip goes up to here. So put that on your piston. Squidge it on, squidge it all the way up, pull it back, and then peel it back off again, off that top lip, and take it down to where, you know, you're hanging off the end that much, about that much, so that you can sit it in place and manipulate the boot into the caliper. Hopefully you should be able to wiggle it and jiggle it enough that it goes in without falling off the piston itself. Trying to keep the big chunks of rust out, that would be ideal. It is a fiddly job. There's no fun way of doing this. It's just it is what it is. Sometimes you can use a pick to try and help the boot into place, but once it's in, it should just kind of fall and click into place. I need to get this bottom lip in and work its way in like that. So the outside boot is now sealed on the thing, and all you have to do is push the piston the rest of the way into the caliper, he said, except it's not actually all the way in. That would have been too easy in one take. This time, we're all the way in, we're all the way in. Does it feel in? Because then that should just slide in like that, and then we just have to rotate this till we find the nut. There it goes, and then that should just slide right over the seal, assuming we've got the nut in the right place. Go one rotation round. Is that better? There she goes. Slides right in, seals the top thing, pushes right back, and it should do it with almost no force. Like if you're having to push really hard, either your seal's twisted or you've got a bit of dirt in behind the seal and it's pushing it out, because let's say, oh, you should do it with your hands, you should just slide it straight back in. So that is slid in. Oh, I should have, well, you don't have to undo the bleed nut if you're doing it off the car, because obviously the big main brake fluid hole is open, so the air pressure comes out of there. So that's that bit, that is it in, and well, it's basically ready to go back in the car. So that was that. Once you've replaced those seals, that's your caliper ready. Put it back in the car and bleed the brakes. And that was it. It's not really that exciting. And hopefully one day we won't have to take these off of here. The car will be long gone by then, and it'll be somebody else's problem. Anyway, that was just something different I was doing, and if you liked it, you liked it. If you don't like it, that's okay as well. You don't have to like everything. But thanks for watching.